So for those of you who actually have a physical cause of anxiety, such as neurotransmitter issues, or if you believe that it's a genetic cause, which it's probably not, sorry, but it's probably not. But for those of you who have a physical cause, something that's causing your anxiety from the brain, this video is for you, okay? So at a baseline, what is anxiety? Anxiety is the feeling of impending death or fear, impending doom, but fear and attachment to what if this happens? What if I get fired? What if this girl rejects me? What if my mom dies? Or what if I die? Or, you know, the list goes on. What if I get fired from a job? What if I lose my house? All of these things. It's the expectation of something bad happening to you. That's what anxiety is at its core. Okay, if you do not know this, then you probably haven't thought that much about it, and you should see my video addressing the mindset of anxiety. Okay, if you do not know that anxiety is just fear of what might happen or what could happen, or attachment to the future, then you should see the video on the mindset, okay? Because you cannot say for sure that it is just a mind, that it's not a mind problem if you don't even know what the fuck anxiety is, really, okay? In order for you to conquer an issue, you have to understand the issue first. That's why you want to educate yourself on anxiety if you want to conquer anxiety. So fight or flight response happens when your brain detects a threat, okay, of some kind. In this case scenario, it's usually perceived fear in the future, okay, like getting ran over by a car or something, or whatever it may be. All right. So some people just have a lingering feeling of nervousness no matter what they're focused on, okay? It always helps to address both the mind and the body, okay? So go ahead and check out my video on anxiety in the mind anyway. But also implement these strategies and principles in this video. So a lot of you people probably have a food allergy or an intolerance that you do not know about. This was definitely the case for me. Milk for me, okay? Dairy definitely cause mood imbalances, sleep disturbances, feelings of restlessness, foggy-headedness, all sorts of these things, as well as a white or yellow coating in the tongue. Removing dairy completely cures all of this stuff. Some people are just going to be different. It could be anything from peanuts to wheat to just grains in general, okay? And there's two different types of food allergies. There's the first one, which presents itself with symptoms such as hives and shock, essentially allergic shock. This appears almost instantly after consuming the food. There's a second type of allergy, which usually happens anywhere from 24 to 48 to 72 hours after you consume whatever it is or come into contact with whatever it is that you're allergic to. And this can present itself in all sorts of strange issues, such as something as simple as mood imbalances, or even fibromyalgia pains, sleep disturbances, stomach aches and stomach cramps, all sorts of issues. Hyperthyroidism as well, okay, but this is more of a long-term thing. All right, it could also be a short-term thing and happen immediately, but it's this different type of allergy. All right. So in order to figure out if it is an allergy, it's just going to take a couple of cycles of trial and error. Okay, you start off with an elimination diet, and you eliminate any possible food allergen, and all you eat is something as simple as white jasmine rice, meat, any kind of meat, and fruits and vegetables. Eliminate all eggs, all dairy. Eliminate all grains except for white jasmine rice. Don't ask me why. It's just the easiest thing to digest, the least possible thing that you could react to. You could even go as far as eliminate nightshade vegetables, but nuts and seeds and peanuts and beans, all of these things, remove them. Just for a period of 2 weeks, and then slowly reintroduce them one at a time. Okay. and for only 1 week at a time you're reintroducing a certain food group. And keep a journal and take notes as to how you feel. You'll definitely see improvements, okay? If you do this once, you'll probably have an idea of what it could be, but you're going to have to do it over and over again, okay, until you find out. Trust me when I say it's well worth it, because you're probably going to be looking for solutions either way. And just know that this is a huge problem and cause of anxiety and sleeplessness and all sorts of mood issues. So please look into this, okay? If you really care, you need to put in this kind of effort. This is essential. Second thing could be blood sugar issues, and that's very simple. If you're consuming any kind of sugar, processed carbohydrates of any kind, except for white rice or white jasmine rice, chances are you might have a blood sugar issue, but it's less the starch, okay? Usually blood sugar issues happen from like a whey protein smoothie with like fruit, especially if you add agave nectar or some kind of sugar to it. That can spike your insulin like crazy and spike your blood sugar too. And a spike in blood sugar is not always the same as a spike in insulin. Or if you just consume a lot of sodas, a lot of sugar, just in general, okay? And you might think like, oh, you know, I consume in moderation, but look, moderation, just don't consume it at all. If you're consuming any kind of processed sugar at all, you could very possibly have a blood sugar issue that you're not aware of, even if you've done tests from the doctors, okay? A lot of times these things aren't really as accurate as you'd like to think. You should try fasting for 18 hours. And if you can't fast for 18 hours, you probably have a blood sugar problem, okay? Trust me. Because I can fast for 22 hours and work out those last 2 to 4 hours of fasting before I finally eat or need to eat, okay? And I'm fine. But I couldn't always do that because I used to have blood sugar issues. I used to consume a lot of processed bullshit, just like a lot of you. Definitely pay attention to the blood sugar problems, okay? Another thing is vitamin deficiencies and mineral deficiencies. Sodium deficiency is very common. I don't care what people say. Sodium deficiency happens for 2 reasons. The first one is people try to eat what they think is a healthy diet, that they usually remove all sodium because they're told that's healthy, and they consume more water. Well, what happens when you consume more water, you exercise more, and you remove sodium? Sodium and water work hand in hand. Without water, your body cannot metabolize sodium properly. Without sodium, your body cannot absorb and store water efficiently. So if you're dehydrated and you consume nothing but water and you consume no salt, you're going to end up with cramps, you're going to end up with anxiety, mood problems, all sorts of things. So if you are eating a diet with only whole foods, people try to say, oh, like meat has fucking sodium in it, some vegetables, fruits and vegetables have sodium in it. Brother, they don't have nearly enough sodium, okay? And if you need a pill to nature excuse for why humans need salt, okay, back in the day, you know, the caveman days, there were rocks that archaeologists or paleontologists, whatever you want to call it, historians of the human race say that we used to lick rocks for salt. Also, lots of evidence points towards us living near the sea, so drinking seawater, eating sea vegetables, etc. Okay, lots of salt in seawater. Alright, but whatever the case, just try it. Okay, if you're so scared of high blood pressure and all this crap, please, a week of just a half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt before you go to bed every night, that's not going to cause any issues, okay? You should be fine. Try it. If you don't try these things, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're wasting your time. The salt deficiency is common. Vitamin D deficiency, magnesium deficiency. If you're not taking a high quality magnesium citrate or magnesium chloride supplement, and you're not supplementing with 5,000 IUs of vitamin D every morning, then once again, you're shooting yourself in the foot. If you have sleep problems and you're not taking vitamin D in the morning and supplementing with fish oils at night, then why, like, what are you looking for? Those are the first things you should be looking at, all right? If you haven't done an elimination diet, if you eat junk food, if you eat processed sugar, you're not really doing yourself any favors, okay? You're causing your own problems. Like, those should be the first things you take care of. To me, it's crazy. People ask for supplements and medications, but they're eating processed garbage. They're not supplementing with the proper nutrients, not even caring about that. They might have hormone imbalances, okay? By the way, water, salt, okay? Salt deficiency or hypernatremia can be caused by aldosterone imbalances, okay? If you have hormonal issues, you can have a salt deficiency through the hormonal pathways. You need aldosterone, a hormone required to balance out your fluid levels in order to actually store salt. If you have cramps, muscle cramps, you're probably, definitely, if you're not sleeping, you have cramps, you probably need some salt. It's probably a salt deficiency. I don't care what anyone fucking says. Try it. Nothing but benefits can happen to you, okay? If it's causing problems, just stop taking the salt and rule that out. It wasn't a salt problem. If you're on birth control and you have anxiety and sleeplessness, kind of dumb to not think that's not the issue. Like, what the hell? Probably have a hormonal imbalance. Probably have estrogen dominance or progesterone imbalances. Okay? If you're on birth control, wondering why you can't sleep, wondering why you have anxiety, well, there's your fucking answer. Okay? So, check into maca root, check into DIM, indole-3-carbinol, and look at how you can balance out your hormones after getting off of birth control. Because when you're getting off of birth control, that will cause hormonal imbalances for a while. Using maca root and being sensible about it can restore your hormones back to normal. Okay? But you need to research this shit. If you're not researching all of these things I'm telling you, then, you're going to have issues, okay? Obviously, go to the doctor and rule out any kind of issues you might have, before embarking on more advanced protocols. So, breathing is a very essential part of it. If you're having trouble catching your breath, that could be linked to all the other things. That can be solved by all the other things I was talking about. But a lot of times people you're breathing in too much and not taking your time with the out breath. So basically, hyperventilation. I'm already feeling anxious after doing that. That will cause panic and anxiety. That will keep you in a state of fight or flight. You need to do the opposite. Slow your breathing down. Hold it. Slow on the way out. Hold your breath outward. Don't even breathe in yet for 5 seconds. Then slowly breathe in for 8 seconds. Hold it at the top for 5 seconds. And then breathe out slowly for 8. And then and then don't breathe in again for another 5 seconds. This you can call breathing in square. As you can tell by how slow my speech is, I've demonstrated the effects of this. Breathing slower slows your mind, slows your body, and brings you into a relaxation response. If you're hyperventilating and have hyperventilation syndrome, breathing is the first place to start. So those are some of the most essential things to take a look at. Beyond that, stretching. If you have muscular imbalances where your neck is like this and you're always looking down, and you have curvature of the spine, also known as kyphosis, where you're like this or whatever, you need to stretch more. You need to correct muscular imbalances. If you're not running and doing cardiovascular exercise every day for at least 30 minutes a day, that's also something you should do, because that will help you sleep for sure. Because if you're not doing any physically exhausting exercises, you're just stressed out because of work and shit. Your body has nothing to rest for. All right, you have nothing to recover from. I know everyone says you need 8 hours of sleep a day, but a lot of times exercising, I mean, the human body's meant to walk, hours and hours at a time. If you're not out there exercising, of course you're going to feel anxiety, and you have all sorts of other issues. On top of that, some supplements that you should try. So we have the neurotransmitter issue. Okay, serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and glutamate are usually the ones that you want to focus on. A lot of times anxiety is just too much glutamate, which indirectly causes more adrenaline and more cortisol and stress. If you have too much glutamate, you're going to need to take things that turn glutamate into GABA. GABA is relaxation, glutamate is stimulation. So Gotu Kola helps with that conversion process. Gotu Kola is probably the number one thing. I recommend it all the time. If you haven't tried Gotu Kola yet, you're wasting your time. Gotu Kola, 1 gram of the Nature's Way dried herbal capsules, 2 grams every single night before bed. It should help you sleep. It will increase the functioning of your brain, and it'll help to relieve anxiety. That, along with all the other strategies I mentioned, the mindset and the breathing, will help you get better sleep every night, and it will help you relax. You can also add Bacopa to that and have a great synergistic effect. Okay, Bacopa and Gotu Kola, I have videos on this. Search them up on my YouTube channel for more information. Ashwagandha, holy basil, 2 amazing herbs that can be used together. Really good for anxiety, really good for sleep. Once again, search up on my channel. I have videos on that. Now, if you feel unmotivated, if you feel depressed, and might also have a little bit of anxiety on the side, you could try a very small dose of yohimbe bark extract in the morning. I have videos on that too. Search that up on my channel. Just put my name, Wolfgang Lozana, or put WVL Holistic Health and whatever the herb is. Okay. Check into all of those. Magnesium citrate, I have videos on that and how it really helped me as well and cured my anxiety for a short period of time. Check that out. I take that as well. It helps me go to sleep at night. Really, really essential to calm the body down. Body cannot relax without magnesium. So that's pretty much it for the most part. If you have any questions or comments, post them down below, and I'll talk to you soon.